Right. So once again back with another topic. It is AI cloud and edge computing for banking, especially for you, my dear students and young researchers. And of course, you know me. You know me. It is Dr. Christo Ananth. So before beginning the session, let me thank God once again for giving me this golden opportunity to deliver this useful session on AI edge as well as cloud computing to share my knowledge among my fellow national, international participants, students, and young researchers. So this session we'll discuss about challenges, the various challenges that we are facing, and then we discuss about AI cloud for banking, about need for the edge computing, and then why we need to adopt AI in banking. Then we try to generate some real-time insights. Then how you try to use edge computing. Of course, we have already used cloud computing. How we use edge computing in a cloud environment. So that we will be discussing. Then we discuss about some popular money-based apps and then cloud banks. Then we discuss about user-friendly websites or apps. Of course, everybody is into user-friendly ones. And then we discuss about how AI is going to support typical human financial success with some good supporting actionable data. Of course, we have some role play. Not in this class, maybe the future weeks we'll have this role play. And of course, we discuss about a video to discuss the knowledge in our topics. So these are the challenges. Our environment is very sophisticated, or maybe we tend to live in a very risky environment. So digitalized services, everything comes with cyber threats. Everywhere we have cyber attacks. For example, the internet banking that we tend to use, the money that you try to send to your near or maybe dear ones. So everything comes with cyber threats. And whenever you talk about personalized services, everywhere, even in the case of email, you have somebody has stolen your password. Even with the case of Facebook, somebody opened an account in place of your name, and somebody they ask for money. So that also happens. So everywhere there are threats and there is risk of exposure to costly fraudulent transactions. Imagine the case of businessmen who want to transfer billion or maybe dollars of money. So there also there is cyber threats. So significant time as well as money is spent on the new customer acquisition. Okay, so that every bank is working on it, but some banks are trying to hide this information from others. Okay, so these are the several challenges. Of course, there is a compelling need that the firms have to deal with more on the cyber attacks, and that is why we need AI cloud for banking. So if we have a cloud, maybe just like maybe a Google Drive or so maybe we can bring about all this data and we can analyze this data and we can save the data as we work on it. So this is the where we use the AI cloud for the banking, and of course it is considered to be the next smart move for intelligent business. So AI cloud for banking, we will have a popular report or maybe a review engine called as Data Robo Insight. So we will analyze about several enterprise applications, even with the case of robo apps, smart apps with AI, and it is going to detect the credit card transaction as well as ATM fraud. So the loan default also, like some are not paying the loan, or maybe some has to pay the remaining second or maybe third installments. So that also is possible with the case of AI cloud. So there are some features, as I told you in the previous session, AML, anti-money laundering schemes, as well as better customer relationships, prevent the loss because of this data. So that also is possible with the AI bank. So you can actually prevent the losses that you make out of prediction, out of forecast, or maybe you can identify those clients who are constantly making the transaction. So even in the last video we saw, So that person was constantly making a transaction. So bank themselves, they offer some recommendations about starting their own ATM. So that much transactions he or she is able to do that. So profitable clients, the AI devices are identifying, and they are making some huge referrals as well. So even in the case of industries, with the case of continuous optimization with regards to building a new AI core business model, so that also is possible in the industries. With the case of small scale as well as medium scale enterprises, we are building a AI life cycle for each and every process. So if you are able to develop them, then comes a unified environment for collaboration, and definitely we will have a greater scope for success. So let's start the journey with the case of the both the human strength as well as artificial intelligence. So we call it as the augmented intelligence. So augmented means something we tend to learn out of the previous experience, and we try to train the models in the case of the machines or maybe the devices. So here, not only artificial intelligence is going to act, but also the human experience, human intuition, human development, human previous experience, everything comes into, and of course the machine is also very fast enough to make the decisions. So as in, I can summarize that altogether all of these technologies can make the right decision as well as the right prediction. So there is need for edge computing. Okay, so based on the influential structure, based on implementing this AI in the cloud, even in the 5G based technologies, even you come across mobiles with 5G, so everywhere we go in search of the new technologies, 5G, cloud, even additionally you have edge computing for the financial services. So that's why we try to employ this BFSI, banking and financial services industry, so that we are meeting their growing or maybe rising customer needs as well as expectations. So there have been some case studies, even in the case of blockchain or maybe AI, ML, as well as API, application program interfaces. So with the case of global edge computing, so it has been achieved $3.5 billion in 2019. It has achieved $3.5 billion in 2019. If the researchers are predicting that with the use of edge computing as well as cloud computing, it would reach up to $43.4 billion by 2027. Also, there is IoT, Internet of Things, where Gartner has predicted that 75% of the enterprises outside the traditional data or by cloud, it would reach by 2025. So that has been a huge rise. 75% the data has been created. Okay. Even with the case of IBM report, it states that 84% of the executives involved in edge computing will definitely impact the operational objectives. So 84%. So over around 42% or maybe 43%, it has rise up to 84% of the people who are having the trust on the edge computing. So this is adopting AI in banking. Of course, we have a Bo advisor, okay, a Bo advisor, just like a chat Bo, okay, who is able to make the advice, one able to make the decision, and the Bo is going to reduce the risk, financial risk in the global marketing or maybe the digital economy. So we will have a positive region of interest, what you call it to be ROI. So definitely based on the emotional as well as psychological factors, it is going to make the decision. Okay. For example, maybe you might be sleepy, or maybe you will have maybe you would not have had food. Maybe because maybe your family member would have been sick. Yeah, there might be several situations. So according to it, the intelligent machines act, and it will be giving you some advices or suggestions. So even with the case of cyber security, it is going to improve the monitoring procedures. Even when data is not properly used, then the information is not properly reached. So when the data is being trapped, then there is higher error rate, and of course there is poor refresh rates also. So AI can generate several real-time insights even. Not so it's not just about generating useful statistics, but real-time insight of data, because everywhere, if you take in the case of banks or maybe any financial sectors, actually this real-time data statistics is actually missing. So generating this real-time alerts is actually lacking, and this is where we can use the edge computing to generate the real-time statistics or maybe alerts. So that is the reason whenever you are going to project the way forward with the banking, definitely you should think about a omni-channel or maybe single channel experience, and that is where edge computing is going to solve this problem. It is going to allow both the retail banking, as well as it is going to allow several alternate investment sectors even to reduce costs, and definitely you can maximize the revenue generated generation that is associated with it. So the reason why we go for edge computing is that its solution has a very autonomous, like an autonomy, or maybe everything is operating automatically on its own, and definitely it will have one administrator to manage the deployments to thousands of endpoints. So this is the advantage that we enjoy. Even the management tasks even are carried out with so much of good goals and objectives even, and no interpreter or maybe no intervention is actually needed. So there are several use cases of edge computing as well as artificial intelligence in the banking. As you can see, both the edge computing and artificial intelligence is capable of providing personalized customer services even. It can go for identification of fraud detection. We can go with analysis of real-time information even. Even there is real-time data monitoring also. So there is hyper personalization, where we tend to use NLP, natural language processing, to actually interpret, as well as it can also effectively comply with the customer information requests even. It can even understand the human behavior, human feelings, human emotions also, and you can adjust the behavior accordingly. And even in the retail banking also, we have like a smile to pay. So that's actually the user, maybe he or she will smile at the camera. So the artificial intelligence is going to capture your features, and generally it will complete your transaction. So this is how the process works. So it's like smiling, and you can do all your works. So it's maybe you can use it in the retail stores even, and this is where edge computing is allowing the seamless integration with non-banking applications. Even we have like facial recognition also for frictionless payments, and you can enjoy much more advantages as well. Even with the corporate banking also, we have several solutions for lending loans based on the micro expression analysis even. So it will be reviewing the loan applications, and it will be based on this micro expression analysis even it is going to lend loans at a very fast rate. So it's actually a service which is driven by this AI part virtual advisor. So we need not have to have a human advisor all the time. We will have a virtual advisor, so that will take care of its applications. Then we have banking security even it can handle, or maybe it can deliver low latency analytics even, and definitely we are able to achieve data sovereignty and security even with cyber security. Our edge computing is able to get the real-time geolocation tagging even everywhere, any event that is going to take place, we require the geolocation tagging. Okay, so that's where we are going to use this digital footprint analyzer even. We can get notice of the suspicious beneficiary detection even. As I told you earlier, we are going to analyze this micro expression analysis even for the facial expression. So just like smile to pay, we can use these case studies. Even we can apply this in the banks for the future concerns. You can manage the workforce efficiently, so but still one problem is the shortage of the skilled professionals. So upskilling of workers is necessary needed, but definitely we need skilled people to manage this new technologies. So you cannot make a new guy to sit and work straight away with AI or maybe edge computing even. So even banks are more focused on hiring accountants or maybe financial advisors, and definitely they will also look for bigger IT workforce even to support these new applications. And definitely, if a customer will be able to apply everything from the car loan or maybe credit cards, even if he or she is going to manage it online, so definitely financial advisors will think, okay, so these are the skills we have to upskill in order to give service for the customer. So this is how they can actually utilize their skills, they can upgrade their skills, they can go for upskilling, and they can give the best service for the customers. So banks, so they can, through these services, they can actually make the employers actually upskill, okay, their abilities, and also reskill what they already have. Okay, so the it will not be actually a hindrance even for upgrading their digital investments even. So as the competition grows day by day, you have to also grow. So if you keep on stay in the same place with the same skills all the time, it is very very difficult. There are several money-based apps even. There are cloud banks even. So definitely, it is going to tailor this financial experience even. So every time we will get this question like whether AI is going to replace that human touch. So definitely, so those who enjoy the services, those who try to upskill, so definitely they will try to get most benefits accordingly. So there is an idea that the artificial intelligence that will replace the role of the human financial advisors, even as I told you, virtual financial advisors, if they are going to take place, so that will be a risk in this pre-pandemic era even. So there are some examples of transformative AI I would like to show you. So this is all about keep up or get left behind. Keep up or get left behind. So this is actually an idea which is supported by the industry leaders. So a successful trader is one who needs to be somebody who's very adept at taking the advantage of AI and ML. So AI and ML together can provide productive and innovative solutions even, definitely for trading, even for investment even. It has come up with so much of access. So you remember the Reddit crash of 2021. Remember, Reddit was the greatest tool that was available. So we had a crash during 2021. That was actually an example of how the low budget investors have the ability to use new platforms to compete with the big old school giants. Okay, so robo advisors are actually increasing the investment activity even with the case of low budget investor, so who doesn't have access to the investment advisors. So there will be robo advisors even, so they will be taking care of the investment activity. Even you can think about low budget also. So low budget investor is also getting the piece of advice. There are some user-friendly websites even. There are some apps even. So in layman's terms, the finance and finance and investment landscape has been leveled out by this technology. So definitely AI is going to overcome the human error, and definitely it is consistent all the time. So we will get a narrow picture of what will actually work, and that will not be based on the previous information. Okay, so even when it comes in the case of the investing, so we need a understanding of the market. So only when we understand the market, we can actually help the investors to make the right choice. So that is where several user-friendly websites or maybe apps have come up with a 24/7 accessibility even. We have automated rebalancing and monitoring of tasks even. So that is going to help the robo advisors from making this traditional investment service. So in the financial sector, there are several financial leaders even. So they are supporting they are welcoming this AI. So definitely because they believe that AI would solve several questions about the financial problems, and definitely it will give very fast innovative solutions even. So even if you take in the case of human financial advisors, even they will have financial solutions also based on the past experience. But AI is not about the previous information, AI is not about the previous experiences, but it is all based on the research based information, how people try to attain success financially in the present situation. So that is where AI has its greatest advantage. And still there is because of this advancements in technology, even this financial sector has become less dependent on the human beings. We have personal mobile apps even that is powered by this AI and ML algorithms. So that is providing additional value over this traditional approaches. So AI can support the human financial success with the actionable data. So let us take in the case of the financial advisor. So he or she will be responsible for the client's income, expenditure, loans, taxes, and investments. So you should not think that income, expenditure, loans, or maybe tax, or maybe investment are not only the direct tasks. Okay, so even if you think okay, even for all of the financial cases, let us take in the case expenditure or maybe loan or maybe taxes, there might be error, there might be human error. Okay, so this human error actually you can solve it with the case of AI, and definitely for the financial success, generally AI will be playing a very important role. Even financial advisors should be supported by technology that AI can make a sense. So it is going to better use the research-based information, and generally it will be supporting our lives every now and then. AI is also going to break down a variety of investment or maybe advisory options even. So generally we need not have to best equipped to carry out alone. So AI is there, a friend is there for us to support us for the success of the financial conditions. So here is a role play I've got to do. So generally you can think about it, which is better. So you can think about, one group can actually think about AI cloud computing in banks, and second one, you can actually think about how AI edge computing in banks. So both are actually very good. You can provide innovative solutions even. So actually in banks, which is better, cloud computing or edge computing? You can actually think about it. You can tell about the positives. You can even talk about the negatives even, so that you can have a brief idea about what actually is needed for any situation. Okay, so you can think about it, right? So this is all for today's session.